you've avoided television, social media, or news channels entirely over the past few years, it's almost impossible to not keep track of the recent tragic airplane crashes. The Nepal plane crash is the latest in the long line of aviation disasters in the recent past. This is enough to make even seasoned travelers like you and me wonder if flying is getting steadily less safe. In other words, how safe is air travel really? What if I tell you that despite all the air tragedies, crashes and accidents that have taken place, flying today is safer than at any time in the past? Let me explain. Some very interesting and rather surprising findings came out of the 2022 Global Safety Report released by the International Civil Aviation Organization, or the ICAO. Now, what is ICAO and what does it do? Well, ICAO has a membership of over 130 governments joined for the common purpose of promoting civil aviation on a global scale. This is that same body that creates rules for aviation safety, security, efficiency and regularity for all these 130 countries. Now back to what the report says. Surprisingly, the report says that in 2021, the aviation industry saw a 9.8% decrease in accidents as compared to 2020. This was also the lowest accident rate in last 5 years. Fatalities resulting from aircraft incidents dropped 66% in 2021 as compared to the previous year. What's more pertinent to know is that all these numbers have fallen despite an 11% increase in the total scheduled flights. That means that while the number of flights increased, aircraft accidents decreased. In fact, the general trend across many years of aviation is that today it is safer than ever to fly. But ICAO is not the only body confirming these findings. According to a research by Harvard University, flying in the US, Europe and Australia is actually significantly safer than driving a car. Your odds of being in an accident during a flight is 1 in 1.2 million, and the chances of that accident being fatal are 1 in 11 million. Your chances of dying in a car crash, conversely, are 1 in 5,000. Despite the recent tragic loss activity, flying is often said to be the safest form of transport, and this is at least true in terms of fatalities per distance travelled. According to the Civil Aviation Authority, the fatality rate per billion kilometers travelled by plane is 0.003 compared to 0.27 by rail and 2.57 by car. Statistically, you have a higher chance of being killed riding a bicycle or even by lightning. In fact, closer home in India, a survey conducted by the Bangalore International Airport Limited reveals that after the resumption of the interstate travel in the country following the COVID-19 lockdown, an overwhelming majority of people felt air travel is much safer compared to other modes of transport. A 2020 study by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology tracked how airline safety has improved over the past decades. In the decade of 2008 to 2017, passenger fatalities significantly reduced compared to the decade before. In that period, the rate was 1 fatality per 7.9 million passengers boarded onto an airplane. In 1998 to 2007, it stood at 1 death per 2.7 million passenger boardings. Go further back and the trend becomes even clearer. The period of 1988 to 1997 saw 1 fatality per 1.3 million boardings, and in 1978 to 87, it was 1 per 750,000 boardings. Between 68 to 77, this narrowed again to 1 fatality per 350,000 boardings. What's making aviation so much safer? Well, it's simple. New technology, new risks. The aviation industry's impressive safety record in recent decades is in large part a reflection of technological developments introduced. Subsequent generations of jet aircraft have generally proved safer than the last. Cancelled flights, packed planes, rising fares, violent outbursts and tragic crashes. Yes, we've seen it all. So is flying that safe? Yes, it most certainly is.